Hey, my lovely ladies, welcome to this episode of Coach Caris podcast. Itchy, bitchy, and guests. Hope you're well. I am recording this on a Friday morning and I'm going to schedule it for Monday. So, by the time, the reason that I'm going to do that is that I might actually change my mind about posting it. So, I'm just going to record it and schedule it and then forget about it, I think, anyway, right. So, today I want to speak to you about fear. And this is something that I have been thinking about now for a good few weeks. And I'm not sure whether I actually want to say it out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway. Right, I have myself a new body composition coach, right? So if you follow my journey, CrossFit journey, my midlife journey, all the dramas, all the fun stuff. All right, I have been working on changing my body shape for about 2.5 years now. First of all, I had to lose some excess body fat, which was fine. We all know that in when I found out I was perimenopausal, part of the reason was that I was piling the weight on. Now, and if you follow me, you'll also know that the perimenopause does not cause weight gain. However, your lifestyle around the time of the perimenopause may cause weight gain, and that's effectively what happened to me, right? So, sat on my arse for a very long time, didn't train, hardly moved, hardly walked, and pretty much lived on pizza and Haribo and sometimes wine as well. So anyway, I packed on 2.5 stone, all right. So I have done some of it myself. I've done some with a coach, all right. So I've lost, I was going to say 2.5 stone. I think it's actually more than that. It's pushing 3 stone now, to be fair. And I've kept it off. Right, so what I do want you to remember is that anybody can lose weight, all right? Keeping it off is hard. I think eating at maintenance is way harder than dieting because we get a bit gallus and we get a bit arrogant, I think, and we sometimes just revert to our bad habits as well. Anyway, I haven't done that, which is amazing. Right, so anyway, I've signed myself up with a new body composition coach. So I am going to change my body composition. So I'm not going to get skinny. I'm just going to lose some body fat and put on some more muscle. Right, but anyway, signed up for 16 weeks, all right? So 16 weeks. And it is going to be the absolute final stage of my fat loss journey. So wherever I end up in 16 weeks' time, that is going to be where I'm going to stay. Now, I might get a wee bit stronger and I might pack on some more muscle. That's totally cool, all right? But for the time being, that is where we're going to be, right? I work very well with a deadline. Usually a tight deadline, to be fair. 16 weeks is a bit long, but I work very well with a deadline. And I feel that if I don't give myself a deadline, this is something that I could be doing for the rest of my life, right? And that's not what I'm all about. That's not what my coaching's all about. Like when my clients, my midlife fat loss clients come and work for me, right? Come and work with me. I don't want them as my client forever. I want to get them at their goal, get them in maintenance, get them more calories, get them more food, and then let them go. All right. So same kind of thing for me. Anyway, right. So across my podcast, my socials, my emails, my Substack, right, the highs, the lows, the tantrums, there's absolutely going to be tantrums. The scales and why they jump up and down consistently. The bloated days, because there's going to be days that I'm just going to be knackered and feel like shit. There's going to be days that I'm going to be all over it and super motivated and disciplined. So warts and all, right, whether it's a good day or whether it's a bad day, I am going to share that story. Right, but before I tell you what's happening, I've got a confession to make. I am actually petrified that I'm going to fail. I am genuinely petrified. Right now, I've just said to you I work well with a deadline, and I've also just said that 16 weeks feels like a very long deadline, like far away, right? And I'm a bit scared that because I've said that I'm going to share this journey story, I'm a bit petrified that I've put too much pressure on myself and I'm just going to get overwhelmed and not do anything and like totally fuck it. So this is exactly what I coach my clients on, right? Whether it's my ladies at Lift or my nutrition clients, right? But even as a coach, I have that familiar loud voice. It's like a little obnoxious little voice that's saying to me, like, what if you mess it up? What if you do all this publicly, right? Because it's massive putting yourself out there. Of course it is. I'm totally leaving myself wide open to judgment, right? And again, most of the time, I do not care. But sometimes I do wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, confidence is taking a wee dip this morning. Right, so I'm going to do all this publicly, and then what if nothing changes? And then what if I totally fuck it up? And then what if all my clients think that I'm being a drama queen? And what if all the midlife lovely ladies out there that follow me are just like, what the fuck are you doing? You just look stupid now because you've said you were going to do it and you've not done it, right? But I want all of you to know that I absolutely have the same fears that yous all do. The exact same paralysis, right? But we have tried, by the time we get to our age, ladies, all right, we've tried and failed at so many things and so many times, right? How many of you have started a diet on a Monday and you're off it by the Friday, right? I have absolutely done that myself so many times, right? But it can sometimes feel that it's actually safer not to even start. Because if we don't start, then we can't fail, right? So that makes you feel nice and safe. Of course it does. But all I would be doing, so if I didn't do this, right, because I don't want to fail. So if I didn't do this, I just wouldn't bother starting, right? I would just accept my body the way it is. And just to clarify, right, I do not hate my body. I want to see how far at 52-year-old I can actually take this. This is what I want to see. I want to see if I can actually get bigger guns. I want to see if I can actually get a flat stomach. I've never had a flat stomach, actually. That is a thing. That's probably the most thing. That's so not very good English, but anyway, so I want to see if I can actually do it. I do work well at a deadline and I do work well with discipline as well, right? But again, sometimes there's a fine line between discipline and putting too much pressure on yourself that you completely overwhelm yourself, which obviously I don't want to do neither, because then I will just look like a right absolute dick, all right? So this fear is real, my lovelies. It's absolutely real. But anyway, so we choose, right? If we choose not to do something because we're scared of failure, we choose that familiar discomfort, of staying exactly where we are just to avoid the risk of failing. Now, this is relevant to anything that's going on in your life. It's relevant to your job, your home life, your relationship, your fat loss, your boundaries, your relationship with alcohol, your relationship with food, all right? It's relevant to any single situation that you can think of. So if there's something in your life that you want to change, but you're too scared to take that first step, then you're going to sit with that familiar discomfort of staying exactly where you are, and you're going to lie to yourself and you're going to justify to yourself why you can't do it, right? And the justification will be lies. It will be something like, I'm too busy, or I'll wait till after the holidays, or I'm not sleeping the best at the moment, so I'll wait till my sleep's sorted, or I'll wait till my kids are 18, or there will be some lie that you're telling yourself, right? And the more you tell yourself that, well, the more you'll believe it, because that's how we work as adults and humans, all right? So I am very aware that it would be quite easy for me just to stop now. I'm just going to stop now, right? I do CrossFit. I love CrossFit. I'm fairly fit. I'm fairly strong. I walk lots, I look after myself, I eat pretty healthily, right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with my body, neither, right? I can stand in front of the mirror and I suppose I'm a bit ambivalent about what I see. I don't hate what I see, definitely not. I don't 100% love it, but I can live with that and that's absolutely fine, right? But anyway, there will always be a little niggle in the back of my head that I've given up. So I'm putting it publicly out there, all right? So 16 weeks. Anyway, so I'm throwing my hat in the ring, as they say, all right? Because I ask my clients on a daily basis to get uncomfortable. I challenge them, obviously from a place of love, but I ask them questions that make them think. I ask them to change their habits. I ask them to change their life, right? So least I can do is do the same, yeah? So I will be there with you, right? But there's also another thing that I want to speak about, and it's a bit of an elephant in the room as far as being middle-aged are. Middle-aged and a female, probably slightly more, and I'm not pulling the feminist card and the woe is me and all that shit, all right? But there is a lot of, most of the judgment comes from other women, to be fair, right? Ironically, there is a lot of toxic, judgmental shit on social media, right? Telling middle-aged women that we should just accept our bodies and stop trying to change them because we're too old or too weak or whatever, all right? And it can lead to a lot of women feeling guilty about having aesthetic goals. So it can make us feel guilty about wanting to lose body fat or change our body shape, right? Now, my job as a coach is to get women into the gym, right, and get them lifting weights. And I constantly recite that I would rather see them strong instead of skinny, right? Now, that doesn't mean that if you're a size 18 just now, you've got no right to get yourself down to a 16, or if you're a size 12, you've got no right to get yourself down to a 10, right? It is absolutely your body. What I don't want midlife women to do is to get skinny, like so with no muscle. And by getting skinny, I mean go and try and live on 800 to 1,000 calories a day. Just what we used to do when we were fucking teenagers or when we were young, you know, just live on black coffee and cigarettes, right? And do you know what I mean? Like the back in the days of the supermodels when Kate Moss, etc., the 80s and the 90s, all right? Like no muscle tone, we're not strong, we're literally weak ass bitches, right? So when I say skinny, that's what I mean, all right? It doesn't mean that I don't think women should have the choice, funnily enough, to choose for their own body that they want to be a bit slimmer or they want their hips to be a bit narrower, right? That I am absolutely all for that, definitely. But if somebody came to me and said to me, do you know, I want to be like a size 4 and they're currently sitting at a size 16 or an 18 or a 20, in fact, even if they were a size 10 and they came to me and says, I want to be a size 4, I would literally be like, what the fuck? All right, so aesthetically and body composition wise, 100% ladies, you are absolutely allowed to change your body shape at your age, and you shouldn't feel guilty, definitely not, no guilt whatsoever for having aesthetic goals, right? It is perfectly acceptable, providing it's done in a healthy manner, all right? So, yeah. Also, while you are working on your goals, you have to work on loving your body, all right? Your life does not start when you get to a weight on the scales or you get to a dress size, right? Your life is now, and regardless of what size you are, regardless of whether you're working on your body, regardless of whether you're unhappy with parts of your body at the moment, all right, you still have to appreciate, you have to work on appreciating what it's actually doing for you, all right? So having aesthetic goals at our age, it isn't vain, right? And it's not anti-feminist, definitely not. But it's your body, right? And you get to decide what it looks like, 100%, right? I want bigger guns. Now, if I'm going to go all in, I'm going to tell you that I want a six-pack, right? I have never had a six-pack in my life, and I know how much I need to not eat to have a six-pack, right? And I don't actually know if I want that enough. But I would like a flatter tummy, definitely, all right? Anyway, the difference at our age now, ladies, is that we're not chasing the body of a 20-year-old influencer on a starvation diet, right? I am not chasing the fat loss that I went through when I was younger, because it was ridiculous, right? It was not cool, all right? But I do want to chase, and I want you to chase a realistic, powerful, healthy aesthetic, right? In a realistic time scale. So I'm giving myself 16 weeks. That's 4 months, right? That is a lot of shit, right? At the moment, we're sitting in June, 26th of June. So we've got the end of July, end of August, end of September, end of October, right? I have 3 holidays in amongst that time, right? But I don't want to wait. What am I going to do? My last holiday's at the end of November. Am I going to wait till November? And then I've got Christmas. And then am I going to wait till after Christmas? And then what will be happening? I'll probably have another holiday in February. So then will I just wait on that as well? And then what if I'm away in May or whatever? And then it's my birthday next July. Oh, I've got a birthday as well. Do you get what I'm saying? So I might as well just start just now. We might as well just start just now. Anyway, so for the next 16 weeks, right? You've got me speaking about fat loss, speaking about the good days, speaking about the bad days, speaking about the fact that I might actually regret saying this out loud when I can't be fucked, right? I will be tired. I will also be cold as well. So when I go into a calorie deficit, usually what happens is I'm cold, right? Now, I've just moved house into the warmest house in the whole world, right? And it's fucking amazing. I haven't had cold hands once. It's like lovely. So I need to watch that carefully, because I really can't stand being cold. Anyway, right? There might be a bit of madness. There will be loads of real life tips, right? There will be loads of realistic shit. I will absolutely let you know what's happening, the good and the bad and the ugly, right? But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to tell you that it's a scoosh, because it's not a scoosh. Fat loss is actually difficult. The process of fat loss is fucking simple. Eat less and move more. That is literally the process, all right? Eat less than your body needs, burn more energy, right? But it's not easy, because we bring emotions into it, and we're busy, and life gets in the way, and we try to be perfect when we don't have to be perfect. We just have to be consistent. So I'm going to share all of that with you, all right? So if you are a midlife woman, right, and you would like to know how a midlife woman's coach navigates her own fat loss finish line. That was cheesy. Fat loss finish line. Right. What I want you to do is give me your email address, and I'll send you email updates. All right. I'll pop the form in the show notes. Oh my god, my brain shut down. I didn't sleep very well last night, by the way. I probably don't think anybody slept tonight. It was like horrific thunder and lightning and torrential rain, and our little pup star Jasper, who's currently sleeping, by the way, under my desk. I've made him a wee nest under my desk. Doesn't really do loud noises. He doesn't like the rain hitting off the window. He certainly does not like thunder and lightning. So we were up from 2:30 till 4 o'clock, at which point I'm up at 4:45, so I just got up anyway, so I'm a bit tired, so I'm starting to muddle up my words. Anyway, get into the show notes. I would love you to give me a follow on any of my socials, or YouTube, or Substack, but I would specifically love to give you email updates, because then we can chat if you've got any questions, all right? Anyway, if I can face the fear of failing publicly, which is real, by the way, I genuinely think that I actually might fuck this up. I'm going to try my hardest not to fuck it up, but I know I'm going to be super motivated to do it, right? And we shouldn't rely on motivation. We should rely on discipline, 100%, right? 100%. But there's always a but. We are women, right? We have emotions. And when I get tired, I can be an absolute riot. My confidence takes a dip, right? And if my confidence takes a dip, I find it very hard to get in front of the camera. So I could actually have fucked this straight away. Anyway, I'm going to try not fuck it, all right? So, ladies, please do give me a wee follow, all right? I hope you find it interesting. Like I said, I am going to tell you the warts and all version of fat loss, all right? There are a lot of coaches out there that will tell you it's easy, you just need to eat less and move more, right? It's not easy. It's absolutely not. It requires dedication. It requires you putting yourself first consistently. It requires you blindly following a process when at times you will think that it's not working. It's difficult. All right. Anyway, my lovelies, as always, thank you for listening. I am away for a nap. Ta-ta, see you soon.